And good morning. I'm Jake Cleveland Payne doing a very bare bones recording of this edition of the weekly wrap up. If you've been following along or if you're brand new here, thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. We'll explain sort of how these things work. Been following along for the week, especially if you've been one of our partners, you've known what's going on this week. I'm recording from an undisclosed bunker, which is actually a bed and breakfast in Arlington, Virginia, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm here. I'm celebrating the graduation of my nephew from the Naval Academy and having such vacation we have during Operation Chaos, which is the move back into the house, which not quite happening. Become a partner. We'll explain that a little later. But right now, I want to make sure we got some sort of in this week for the stories that you've been following along. Go to our website. This is a conversationproject.com for more details on how the conversation project works. What this is the weekly wrap up. Every single weekday morning, we provide for you a morning show that gives you stories from the previous day or the weekend for Monday to give you a heads up on what stories people are really talking about, not just the main headline, the overdone headlines. So we have the big stuff, but some things that you vet as conversational. So that we did not have those recordings this week, and we didn't actually have time to do the newsletters this week, but we did actually scan and keep up with everything going on so we can keep something consistent going forward. And what I have for you is a very bare bones version of that. If you click on the link in the description, you can see links to all of the stories and go deeper in detail there. I don't have the full write out with the pictures today, but I will give you the top 10 stories of per your engagement this week. What normally happens every single day is we'll take the top half of stories, the top 30 for the stories of the weekend. There's 90 stories, and we'll pick from them 10 for Monday and 8 for the rest of the week to present to you as stories each day going. Here, we tell you what stories were actually top 10 per your actual engagement. It's just literally what you say were top 10. Today, a little extra work because you have to go click the links, get deeper details on most of them because I didn't do a full rundown of all of them. So, based on the limited activity, limited thing we have to work with, here we go. We're going to give you the 10 stories that were the tops for this week per you, not me, per you saying these were what stories were most important. And story that started off at number 10, we come down, I say Casey Kasem style, but the old school countdown style. Number 10, that story was Rudy Giuliani served with Arizona fake electors indictment during his 80th birthday party bash in Palm Beach. Now, this is the Arizona case, the fake elected case where other people have gotten their papers so far. But the problem here is people in Arizona couldn't find Rudy Giuliani to actually process him with his actual stuff. And then basically around that time, it's like, hey, I'll be here for my birthday party. And essentially the party started. They showed up. They gave him papers. Party kind of died down after that. The number 9 story this week: Taylor Swift breaks concert crowd during during Taylor Swift breaks concert crowd record in Stockholm with Eras tour. So click the link for this one, and you can see that's not open. Click the link for this one. You can see how she did this. Now, one of the reasons why she's breaking records with her tours overseas is that the tickets overseas tend to be cheaper than tickets here in the States. So people are actually traveling to overseas destinations because the plane flight and seeing the show and maybe a hotel is cheaper than a show here in the States have been. So a lot of people are going over to join in on the Eras tour there because it's actually easier to get a ticket over there. It is. At number 8, Canadian teen says he was fined $580 at McDonald's drive-through for using app. Police dispute that. A teen in Canada said he was in the drive-through using the app to make his order. Like he pulled in the drive-through and then made his order to have it as he rolled in instead of doing it in the parking lot on the way into it. Police saw him and then they basically fined him for texting and driving. He says he was in the drive-through, not moving and using the not McDonald's app specifically. Police say no, just basically texting and driving. Click the link to get details of that story as well. At number 7 this week, Ali Wong settles divorce from Justin Hakuta as romance with Bill Hader heats up. We've been covering Ali Wong and Bill Hader for a while. People like celebrity drama, celebrity gossip, celebrities getting together and not getting together and breaking up. Last year was a year a whole bunch of them broke up all over the place. So we talked about the year of the breakup last year. This year, not so much breakups, but get-togethers and then breakups because people apparently aren't getting together and then deciding to actually end their actual legal relationships they have. Ali Wong and Bill Hader still doing well together. Now Ali Wong and Justin Hakuta not doing anything together because they're now officially got papers and done. At number 6, Delta Sigma Theta. No records of Georgia State Rep Angela Moore belonging to historic black sorority. Please click the link on this one to get more details on this one. At number 6 this week, this is a story that means a lot to some folks, but also means a lot in the greater scheme of things. We harp on a lot of people for falsifying records. More than a few years back, and every so often cycles come back in on people who say they have military records, they served in different places, they have medals on their chest for stuff, some active duty, some who left service, who we find out this basically they found a badge, put on their shirt, and no one questioned them because they're at a higher rank or they had a higher classification where they can say they did stuff. This one may not seem like on that level, but it sort of does. Being in one of the Divine Nine, one of the original black sororities and fraternities, is a big deal for folks in that. I often joke about the fact that I am sorority fraternity agnostic. I'm not in a fraternity, so I don't particularly care while they work. But for people who are in these things, it's a big deal. It's a stature thing. It's a placement thing. Everybody wears the same colors, wears the same things, have the same sort of background. So it means something. It's a networking thing, and it's something there. But someone who is claiming not to have the right colors, if you will, is lying and making stuff up. And what they should say back, in college days, and the dude, you get caught wearing somebody else's colors, they basically beat you down. This is a person who is of stature, a state rep in Georgia, who says she's a sister of Delta Sigma Theta. Apparently, they don't have the records of it happening. Now, maybe the records were lost, maybe something's there. No one's really stepping up and said that she's a member of the sorority here. Check out the story and see how this affects you going forward. Affects it pretty well because you made it a number 6 story by engagement this week. Number 5, marriage rumors continue. Oh, that's might want to roll up some at the top of it. Jennifer Lopez likes Instagram posts about relationship red flags as Ben Affleck marriage rumors continue. Maybe Ben and Jennifer aren't working so well on the second or third time around after all, because there's rumors that life isn't going well, and the Dunkin' Donuts commercials are just basically cover for the fact that life isn't going well. We'll see how this thing plays out because we watch these things, hence the story about Ali Wong and Bill Hader going forward on this one. But the rumors are that marriage is not going so well, and looks like Jennifer Lopez liked an Instagram post on red flags, whether she's saying, being passive aggressive about Ben Affleck or just like something that was interesting, because most cases they just like something interesting. Bikini models, sure, they're interesting, but if you're like a Christian conservative, they should not be that interesting. It's the same lines there. Speaking of interesting, Supernatural actor DJ Qualls announces engagement to co-star Ty Olsson. Great news for DJ Qualls, who many people wonder, was he an actual DJ? Was his name DJ? Because he didn't really say that. But DJ Qualls, who's basically an actor you've seen the skinny guy with the big head who's been to all sorts of things, is coming out literally with his engagement to his co-star Ty Olsson from Supernatural. So congratulations to those guys for finding each other, and hopefully they work out better than Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and Ali Wong and her former husband. Hopefully they do well. We are rooting for everybody. No one hates DJ Qualls. Everybody loves DJ Qualls. We wish he can be a higher tier actor. He should be the next Captain America. Sorry, my man, but Anthony, but he should be next Captain America because he's DJ Qualls. Let's go with that. A little bit to baseball, but not so much baseball, but celebrating a great player. A Shohei Ohtani Day to be an annual event in Los Angeles for duration of his Dodgers career. Now, it can't be forever because unless he ends as the Dodger, and then they'll keep it forever. But while Shohei Ohtani, the highest paid baseball player in history right now, and of course, doing great stuff on the field, even despite having the distractions of his case with his interpreter, they love the guy. Apparently is the nicest guy in the world, despite what's going on everywhere else. So they love the guy. The Dodgers are going to show what they can for Shohei as much as possible to show the love for this guy. Hopefully they can win a couple things for him because that's great. Not good for my Braves, not good for my sort of adopted Mariners, not good for the local team where I am, which happens to, oddly enough, be St. Louis, because Arkansas loves St. Louis. But good for the Dodgers because they can use some good. Let's go to a very sad story at number 2 this week. This story is, the headline reads, Pocky confirms one chip challenge is discontinued response to teen's death. Now, this is a bunch of stories basically combined in one. About a year ago or so ago, I don't have the full details for it, but about a year or so ago, a teenager did the Pocky chip challenge. It was essentially one big hot chip, and can you eat it? Can you survive it? Found out that he had some underlying medical issues that made the inflammation of his chest, essentially the inability to breathe because you're eating those hot chips, an issue, and that was the cause of his death. It was eating the chip, but because underlying conditions basically exacerbating those things. Because of that, the chips were taken off the market. There was a lot of things going on. Pocky said, "Hey, this thing's for adults, but it's not like they're behind a counter and you have to be at your ID to get them." They've discontinued the one chip challenge officially as of this one. This product no longer available. Now, kids love hot chips. Takis are all the rage, and Cheeto dust is one thing, but hot Cheeto dust is something totally different. Hot chips are what kids are eating these days, and things like watching Hot Ones and super hot sauces, things like that, is what people are into. This is just a very sad incident, and one of those just randoms of the universe, if you will, to happen. And we're very, very sorry about the tragic end to the life of the child, because he didn't know he had something underlying that would make eating a chip being a problem. But because of that, the company, more or less trying to get out of liability, to be honest, is killing this challenge. And that maybe it was fun while it lasted, but for now, it's no longer fun. And the story of the week, the top story of the week, number one, this is the highest engagement of all stories. I still have my ranking here, so bear with me while I roll over so I can look at it better. This was a top rated Twitter story, or X story, as they're basically killing all the Twitter stuff this week. Engagement of about 16% of all stories we covered this week had people looking at this one. And the headline reads, "Scotty Scheffler arrest case to take U-turn as fresh evidence adds more salt to expected legal drama." Number one story for the beginning of the weekend, going into the week, because it happened on Friday morning, essentially, is Scotty Scheffler being arrested on his way to play golf with the PGA Tour. Apparently, there was a car crash on the way to the actual golf course. He tried to get around it, got stuck in it, something like that. The arresting officer got a bit angry. People were hanging out there because they're, one, watching the car crash, and two, waiting to see the golf stuff. They took him out of the car, put him in the car, drove him to the jail, put him in an orange jumpsuit, booked him, and he's got to deal with these charges. Charges haven't gone away yet. What we found out is that the officer that arrested him got in some trouble. One, because they made Scotty Scheffler famous, and two, wasn't running his dash cam or his vest cam. His dash cam on his car was malfunctioning. His vest cam was personal camera basically wasn't working. So we didn't actually capture it as a legal procedure. So we don't have that footage or that proof of what's happening. They said that they really didn't say what it was. But Scotty Scheffler also said that everyone at the jail was just the nicest guys in the world. They processed him. They did some stuff. They hung out with him since he was kind of sitting back there by himself to get along with that. Eventually, they processed him. They got him back onto the golf course for some practice rounds. Started a little bit late, and also it was raining that day, which is why the accident was there. And he got through it. I have no idea how he fared after that, because Operation Chaos. But essentially, it was an ordeal that was one thing that actually kept other golfers' names out of people's mouths, because they're dealing with Scotty Scheffler. Although this one will probably blow over fairly quickly, fairly easily. We will see, because it is an actual legal procedure that must be taken care of. That's the way it goes. Quick break to step outside and, of course, talk about our sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a news service that you should check out. If you like quick news bursts like we did here, hopefully fairly quick, at Rambly, unfortunately, but quick news bursts of the news, that's a full week of news in 15 minutes right there. Big stories that happen, and some little stories that were engaging to people that you wouldn't think were engaging. All that was there via us and our aggregation, but you should check out the aggregation at Ground News. If you are a person who really wants to know the truth about the stories that are being told, Ground News will take care of that. Ground News will allow you to see what stories the angles are coming from. A headline will pop up, a article will pop up, a topic will pop up, and they cover all the actual sources that have it covered. So you can see whether they are covered mostly by Republican leaning sources or Democratic leaning sources, liberal or conservative if you want to. You can see what stories are being blindsided, essentially all right coverage or all left coverage. What stories should be getting more coverage but just aren't there. This is a great news service that is basically filling the gap for a lot of things you have going on. We all know that the major headline services, the major networks, have a bent, have a leaning. They have to sort of bring in their core audiences. CNN can no longer be just straight down the middle completely because it's doing news for everyone. So they have to lean more towards a side. And while others networks like Fox News, MSNBC, and more of the or I say trashy ones, Newsmax, OAN, are really pushing hard towards a side to bring people in and keep the eyeballs there. Ground news is not about that. Ground news is about covering news stories, getting as much news as they can to you, and giving you something that you can really get into. So check them out today. They are our sponsor. You can check out all of our sponsors at our website, at our sponsorship links at our website. But this is one we want you to really consider. You can get the news for the year for less than a couple cups of coffee. It's just that simple. Go to thisconversationproject.com/ground news. This is conversationproject.com/ground news and get your news, pure news, or at least purely where this is coming from, the sources where they come from, and sort of ratings on the sources today. Now, with that out of the way, a quick shot to actually promote the Conversation Project. And this is the conversationproject.com, our website. We provide for you conversational news every single day. We do this via links via Facebook and X. Now that they're basically trying to really phase out the Twitter links, we're going to really call it X. We're going to be serious about it. So you go to our feeds. We have, it's not very well ergonomic here. In this goes bunker. On Facebook and X. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project. X.com/TH_conversation. You get a chance to see every 50 minutes or so, we post news articles from across various spectrums, various places, the various various sites out there, right, left, in between. Sometimes we mix up the right article with the left headline just to kind of see what happens. Sometimes we have a chance to really write our headlines and make them more punchy. Sometimes we wait on a story until we get a headline that looks more punchy. Sometimes we put a story out there that we think is interesting because we got on some aggregator and no one picks it up on it for a couple of days. Sometimes it takes a couple of days or something to get interesting enough for people to pick onto it, and we're getting there. It's all hit or miss. It's all choice of the matter. It's all based on you. Whatever you see when you go to check out our feeds, checking out your own feed, seeing what's out there, is your chances to engage in the stories that are there. Like them, love them, hate them, share them. Engage in the stories that you see right there. Literally, the higher engagement score you get, the more chance to talk about it. The more emoji faces you want to click on a story, the better. And if it gets high enough, we'll talk about it. On the weekday show, on Mondays, we do the top 30 of the weekend, over 90 stories the weekend. The rest of the week, about 30 stories or so a day. We'll do top 15 stories and pull 8 of those to talk about. 10 stories on top 30 stories, not full 30 stories. We'll be here all morning. So that's that. That's the daily show. And then we give you this thing here, which is the pure engagement scores from the top stories without me interjecting. Didn't have really time to say which ones to talk about, which one didn't. But if you click on the link in the description and you see the links, there's a star by every story that we actually covered. So you'll see what stories we took onto the live show and what stories that we missed for whatever reason, because we had to pick 8 out of 15. And sometimes the more interesting stories were the ones that barely made it in there, at least interesting to, I think, to conversation to know about, than the one that's number 1, number 2. And sometimes we skip a lot of the 1s and 2s. We did no Harry and Meghan stuff live last week because there are other things going on. But trust me, 2 Harry and Meghan stories in the top 10, 2 distinct ones, which shows that people don't like them, which we already kind of know. But keep up with us at our website. This is theconversationproject.com. Go to our feeds on Facebook and X. It says Twitter in the scroll, but it's X now. We're going to start saying X. We'll change that in a couple days. Do on that one. Check out our partnerships page if you think what we're doing. This one might not be the most engaging version of it, but we're getting it done. the help of you, our partners, we get things done. So check out our partnerships page. You saw on the scroll earlier some of our $5 partners who help us get things done directly. And if that's not in your wheelhouse, you don't have the funds for it, you don't think we're quite there yet, you can email us for free at at the conversation inbox at gmail.com. And you can still have conversations, still give us feedback, and we'll take it all in consideration. It's all there. Check out our sponsors page. Uh, Follow us in all the various places. Go to the website and see where you can follow us. Videos, audios, everything's there. Share the Conversation Project with as many folks as you want to, as many folks you can, even folks that you don't think of. I used to have a tagline that was share it with friends, share it with loved ones, share it with people, direct strangers, because who knows? You never know who needs to get in on a conversation. We wrap things up with the out of range story. One of the stories that was not quite top 10 material. We do a tracking now to kind of make it more pithy. We track the top 15 stories of the week to see what's going on, and the very bottom story to have pure context. This week, 241 distinct different postings. So 241 stories. So the 10 you heard were the top 10 of that. And one story that was not quite there came in at number 12. And this was a story we actually did cover in the week, the Things You Might Have Heard Daily Show. The headline is Jason Momoa confirms relationship with Adria Arjona 3 years after Lisa Bonet split. Now, this is a big one for us, people who are kind of followers, people who are regulars, because we have a love relationship with Jason Momoa. We have kind of a crush. I had a crush on Lisa Bonet, and we have a real big love relationship and kind of man crush on Jason Momoa and Lenny Kravitz, Lisa Bonet's former husband, who, for whatever the stars aligned, Jason and Lenny essentially were the bestest of friends, even though they shared an ex together. And it was very, public about Lenny Kravitz trying to get back with Lisa Bonet. They have kids together, and Jason Momoa came in, all stuff like that. And it was just the love fest that was Jason and Lenny, even if Lisa Bonet was just sort of there. Of course, that relationship ended 3 years ago. There's been all the talk about Jason Momoa sleeping on people's couches because he has famous people couches to sleep on, so he can sleep on couches. And of course, now he's got a new official girlfriend. So good for Jason. Hopefully, Jason and Lenny still hang out because we want that to happen. But that's essentially how that goes. Not quite in range. Number 12 story per your engagement this week. So close, not quite there. With that, reminder of our sites and where you can find us. Of course, this is a conversationproject.com is our website. Go there for all things Conversation Project. The email address, conversationinbox@gmail.com. Make sure you go there and chat with us. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. We'll do our best to work on that. Also, our feeds, facebook.com/This Is Conversation Project, x.com/th_conversation. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of however we're doing this. Operation Chaos continues. Very quick info for folks who are new here. Operation Chaos is essentially the move back into my house that we've been displaced from since last March 2023, because of a tornado and the chaos that has been getting it redone, and the chaos now that's getting back into it. That's been delayed. So people who are our partners will get an update sometime this week as we fly back tomorrow. So it'll probably be a late update for what's happening on Operation Chaos. But because of that, we'll be hit or miss on the daily thing. So you'll see links for things that aren't happening because we're hit or miss. So apologies for that. But Operation Chaos is in full effect. We got this one out. We're probably going to try to do some sort of story of the week-ish thing. The links to all the stories are in the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter so you can get those as well. And we maybe move those as well. But stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. I say that as we wrap up everything because life is a marathon, not a sprint. Make sure you're prepared for the long haul, not just the quick run and then go sit down. With that, I'm already sitting down, but I will shut up. Thank you so much for being a part of this thing here, in this form here. We love you. We mean it. We're going to be back in full force in some ways. Have some new additions being added. So we're testing some things while we're got some downtime here in Maryland. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Become a partner so you can get in on these great new things coming up. And follow us on the feeds because you literally tell us what to talk about every single morning we do these things. Love you. Mean it again. Thank you.